Alright, response video to Fred. This camera's just really pissed me off. Anyway, stay. How come it isn't staying? It always stayed over there. It did. I never had this problem before. Anyway, yeah, my little thing fell off. That's fine. Alright, never mind. I should be in the camera range somewhere near it anyway. I do have a little thing, you know, but I have a camera hooked up to it. Yeah, so doesn't do me any good to have a tripod if I got the wrong camera hooked up to it. Anyway, response video, yeah, Fred, sort of, kind of. Yeah, wait, Fred drawing video. I guess I'll put it on YouTube if I keep it under 15 minutes, which I should, because I don't think I have that much to say. But, he brought up in his video the other day my phrase, the first ouch. But it could be the first ooh, or the first ah, or the first yuck. I haven't thought it through enough to figure out what came first. Attraction, repulsion, like desire and undesire. It's not really a good reverse word for desire. Fear. Yeah, that really doesn't say it. But anyway, so I did do a drawing, but I'm not going to bother you with this terrible drawing. Because I'll do a better video in the future on this. But look, the first organisms basically had a reflex that was a one-way thing, a one straight line. Okay, you stimulate the little thing over here, and the little wiener got hard, or whatever happened. I mean, it was just kind of a direct line. And when this nervous system thing started happening, it was basically a separation between input and output. So instead of there being a direct line between input and output, there was a node, a line, a break in the reflex. And yeah, that's it. That's the first brain. First separation between input and output, because basically the idea, I think, was that you had more than one thing to judge. So let's say you shot gas out of your anus when a predator came by. You had to know whether your anus was full of gas before you shot your load. You wanted to fill it up. And so maybe there was a couple of circumstances that need to be in place for you to have a proper anus firing. And yeah, so there was a way you had to have these more than one input, and then there'd be one output. So it was a reflex feeding into reflexes. So instead of just a straight line, straight reflex, there was a break in the reflex, and then another reflex would react to that reflex's circumstances. So then you could have 5 or 6 or 10 conditions, and this would only fire if all 10 things were on, so to speak. And then this would do its reflexive thing. That's the first brain. Somewhere in the mix, the brain started absorbing all these sense data, I would argue, I would suggest, and it was able to create, in this mechanism of brain, this thing called a sensation, this illusion of sensation, of attraction, repulsion, feel good, feel bad. Yeah, I mean, you got yum and ooh and attraction, and then you got like ouch and yuck and repulsion on the other side. And that's where the other side is what gets complicated. Alright, so if you get the idea, so there was this ambiguous feeling, and the benefit of it was it would create something like, yeah, I'm hungry, but I'm also afraid. And I've argued that you sort of need to combine sensations, and then the organism would have to judge based on conditions whether it was going to go with fear or whether it was going to go with hunger. Which one would win the little battle. And there'd be a huge advantage for an organism that could do this analyzing of its environment and go eat at the right time. That was going to be hugely advantageous. So that's why we got it. That's where we got it from. So then when you get more complex, so I'll jump a few billion years in evolution or whatever, then we end up with this conditioned memory kind of response. Okay, so we through our experience remember the yucks and the ouches and the yums and the oohs, and we start to associate different things with different sensations. And then we end up with things like a sexual preference or food preferences and other attachments and addictions that create satisfaction for us. and those are basically conditioned in that the hardware runs these programs automatically. And that's kind of hard to undo. Once it's done, it's hard to undo it. Those reactions become very visceral, very autonomic. And then on top of that, humans are doing this thinking thing. And what I'm sort of arguing is the thinking thing doesn't have any power. So it doesn't have by itself any visual automatic reaction. And so it has to go back through the conditioned memory to get action out of the beast. So it basically has to go back. The thoughts have to go back through the emotions, back through the memory, back through a way of contriving a sensation to create what would be a motivation, and in turn an action, a motivating feeling, and then in turn a potential action, depending on how all these little reflexes are wired. And so I would argue that every word is a reflex. I mean, it triggers a response. Every visual sight that's recognized by the brain triggers a response. So we're just doing the input-output thing. We're really just doing the same thing the little squirmies are doing. We're just doing it with billions of more interactions, or billions of more testers, triggers. Lots of triggers in our brain. And so lots of circumstances, lots of unique circumstances can exist. Lots of permutations. So lots of potential for variation in our behavior and nuance in our personalities and how we speak, and even how we absorb information and how we think and how quickly we do it, or how nervously we do it, or how calmly we do it, or how relaxed we are, and how we all of this stuff now can be very nuanced, because we got billions of little reflexes deciding how we act. It's not a knee jerk anymore. It's a billion knee jerks, and they all can be in different arrangements and alignments to create very unique human beings. But it's still the same mechanism. It's still shit. It's still just, it only exists because it made us more capable of eating our neighbor, period. Surviving on planet cannibal, Hannibal the cannibal, and that's our heritage. Is just beat the shit out of everything else so your genetics win. The end. Nothing spectacular, nothing to hand out blue ribbons to evolution for. Just kind of crude and brutal and nasty and stupid. And and all these reflexes and all these words and all this vocabulary has just created inside of us this idea of a self and an ego, and this idea that we're going to accomplish something, or we're going to get some pussy, or we're going to get some cheese, or whatever else that's going to make us think that we've accomplished something. I did something good. I didn't do something stinky. I didn't wet my pants today. Yay! I'm a hero. Whatever the bullshit is that we contrive to make all this seem like it's meaningful and useful, when it's completely stupid. It's just dumb fucking mechanical physical bodies being manipulated by a DNA molecule. A fucking goddamn molecule owns your goddamn soul. It's all contrived to just keep you mushing through the fucking cesspool of tsunami filth. You're just part of the fucking blob, or you're part of the thing getting blobbed. And that's all there is. There's a blob and stuff that hasn't been blobbed yet, or it's just one thing eats the other thing, or the other thing's the victim. You're either the perpetrator or you're the victim. There's no other role to play here on planet shithole. So anyway, but I mean, the important thing is understanding that this is all just built out. It's just a mechanism for survival. It's a tool like goddamn claws or anything else. This whole complex nervous system thing is just a fucking tool that makes you survivable, because it allows you to manipulate an environment. And the best part of us, the intellectual part, I would argue, is so trapped away from the biology. That every time vocabulary, words, and thoughts go through this process, they have to go through this hard work of going back through our conditioned animal ape to force an action. They can't legislate. They can only suggest. to the ape. Come on, ape, you want to do the right thing. Come on, ape. Come on, ape. We'll give you a chocolate bar later if you do the right thing. Come on, ape. We're just always seducing ourselves. We're always trying to talk ourselves into doing the right thing. It's such bullshit. It sucks so bad. Yeah, it's a really good commentary. So anyway, but yeah, it's like I said, I got it down here. It's all down here in the old model. I just got to make it a better model. But really, we can understand our psychology. We can see the fucking wheels, and we can start seeing how they're turning, and how we're manipulated and controlled by culture and tradition, and this whole sense of need and want and desire and addiction and attraction and repulsion. We can see it all, and we're just not that. It's just not. We're just not that complicated. When you strip off the veneers of all the glorification we've done about the fact that we are intelligent, you know, because we figure out, oh yeah, the world is round. How brilliant of us. So anyway, we figure out how to manipulate the molecules and the elements to build ourselves little buggies to go, play in the dirt on another planet, find another sandbox to take a dump in. They probably did that, probably on the moon. They left a bunch of shit in a little bag somewhere, a little bag of shit on the moon. Humans were here. Anyway, don't want to get on that subject. I had quite a dream today, a very long dream, and this cat was in it, and he had to have surgery, and he had a problem with his intestines, and so I had his intestines out, and apparently they were metal. They obviously had somehow had surgery earlier, like X-Men or something. And so he had this copper intestines, and they were attached, and I had to make sure the anus flesh was still alive. And I was like, oh, it's so very complicated. I'm trying to fix this mechanical thing, and I don't even know how to fix it, and it was weird. So anyway, just throw that in. But yeah, that's what brains do. It's just a bunch of bullshit, you know. You see, garbage in, garbage out. The culture fills my brain full of garbage. I end up with some fucktard, idiotic metal colon dream. Just stupid. So anyway, enough said. Alright, so I'll put this on YouTube. Is it short enough? And, but YouTube does suck. I mean, I did watch the edible napalm video, and, where they got the stupid, because it's an artistic play of silly naked people jumping around singing songs. That's okay, but yeah, you can't draw figure art. I mean, there wasn't even there's not even pussy in what I drew, and it's just no excuse to lose 600 videos for that. So yeah, I mean, this Google is way too fucking evil for fucking goddamn tolerance. But people keep making excuses. I read like 2 comments on his video or something. It was almost like, you could see the same old bullshit. Well, it is art. I mean, people are just too fucking stupid. They just don't even get it. The question isn't whether this stupid play was art. The question is why does YouTube allow one thing and doesn't allow the other thing when there's no justification for drawing a line and saying one person's allowed to do it and another person's not. It's just idiotic. And it just shows that they don't give a fuck about rights and freedom, any of that shit. They'll just do whatever the fuck they want when they want, and they'll get away with it because all you fucktards will just lap up whatever they throw at you. So dismal. So anyway, Google sucks. It's evil. Alright, yeah, anyway, so link to, I'll link to the drawing page. Then you can, if you want a image file of the Fred drawing. Came out pretty good, I think. Looks pretty Freddy to me. I mean, I look at it and I say, I got it right over there. Looks like Fred's, yeah. I say, hey, Fred. Hey, Fred. It's kind of like the Mona Lisa. He's got that kind of face where you don't know whether he's smiling or sneering or saying, you're all a bunch of fucking lunatics. I'm crazier than all of you. Anyway, so yeah, it's worked out okay. Till next time, such.